I didn't go there to receive accolades or want to become like I had to have awards and everything. I earned every single thing that I got. I never, like, people talk about me being a prolific scorer. I never went out and said I'm about to score 25, like I'm about to get 30. Like, I didn't do that. It just came.
It was
I just
from all
it
the
was
hard work.
from all the hard work.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Sessions. We have a special guest on the show for you guys today. We're going to talk some basketball, some WNBA, some overseas, some college legend type hoops today. I am one of your co-hosts. As you know, this show is sponsored by Spokesio. You go to spokesio.com. It is an app for all athletes. You download the app, you upload your highlights, your mixtapes, your resumes, whatever it may be, and athletes around the world can connect with you, and scouts around the world can discover you. So if you want to be discovered, you want to go on spokesio.com right now. Again, this is your boys, yours truly, Sean.
What's going on, everybody? It's John L.
Yes, and today, yeah, we're gonna introduce you, and we got you for sure. Today we have Andrea Riley. Andrea, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself as we get started?
Yes, I've been actually playing basketball since the age of 3. It's been a big passion of mine. It's really taken up a lot of my life. I also like to do things like train kids and give back as well. So just be on the lookout for a lot of things as far as me, like touching on kids and teaching them the game, going around trying to teach life skills to young girls and young boys. So it's definitely a journey, but it's a lot of stuff I want to do. So we could go all day about that.
Speaking on all that you're doing, and in the last conversation we had, I mentioned how at Oklahoma State, how much of a bucket you were, and you made sure to tell me, now I'm still a bucket. Can you quickly talk a little bit about your time at Oklahoma State? You clearly left there as the leading scorer in that school's history in 2010. So, like, your bag is heavy. Do you want to tell me about your collegiate time at Oklahoma State and what that experience was like?
Well, what's so funny is that, I like heat coming out of high school, choosing Oklahoma State because the prior year they were 6-22 overall and 0-16 in the conference, and people couldn't understand, like, why would you choose there? Why wouldn't you go to somewhere like UConn or somewhere that I already had success? And the thing about me is that I'm not a bandwagoner. I don't chase the crowd. I like to separate myself. So what I told people is that I wanted to go somewhere that I wanted to leave a legacy. Everybody can leave a legacy, like at a LSU or at a Connecticut, but not too many people are worried about Oklahoma State, So I really went there with the mindset of I'm going to change the program. And that's exactly what happened. But I also put in a lot of countless amount of hours of work. Like I was in the gym when everybody was out partying, at times I had to sacrifice my livelihood, like, just wanting to be a regular student or something. But I chose to get in the gym and it helps a lot with Jordan being one of my role models. Like, he was always working, and he never, you couldn't stop him, because mentally you couldn't stop him, but physically you end up not being able to because of the countless amount of hours that he put in, the work. So, at Oklahoma State, when I first got there, it's so funny. When I first got there, we had like 150 people. Like my first game there, it was like 150 people in the stand. Mm-hmm. And that's my high school. We was already like a hot commodity anyway. We had sold out games and we were ranked nationally and all of that. So when we going to Oklahoma State, I'm like, hold on, where the people?
Right.
Why nobody coming to the game? So what happened is that my coach was like, well, you're going to have to start putting them in the seats. And so that's the main thing it was. Of course, we don't play for a crowd, but we would love for people to come watch us play. So that was a big thing, is just wanting to change the program into having a winning mindset and to being a contender in the Big 12. Because at that time, the Big 12 was like SEC, Big East, and all of that. Like, this is when Big 12 had the Paris Twins and stuff. So it was really, really big. So being there, competing against girls, it was just amazing. It was definitely a journey for 4 years. It was a roller coaster, but I didn't go there to receive accolades or want to become like I had to have awards and everything. I earned every single thing that I got. I never, like people talk about me being a prolific scorer. I never went out and said I'm about to score 25, like I'm about to get 30. Like I didn't do that. It just came.
It was
I just
From all,
it
from all
was
the hard work.
from all the hard work. I mean, you playing yourself one-on-one with full court, with with one shot, no make it, take it. Like that's hard with 2 layups. See, people don't think like that. Not a lot of kids that I know are playing themselves one-on-one in the gym by themselves on a Saturday night at school. So it took a lot of sacrifice. It took a lot of gut check and everything, because my coach, he definitely challenged me. And he told me, yeah, you could score this, but I'm not just gonna give you the starting spot. You're gonna have to work. So I definitely am, I don't regret anything from Oklahoma State. I grew up there and I appreciate it.
So you put in all that work at OK State, and senior year, you ended up being best point guard in the league, or in the NCAA. Second leading scorer, I believe, at the end of the season. And you ended up getting drafted to the Sparks.
The My LA
Sparks. What was that experience being drafted, 8 overall? And then what was your experience as a rookie?
That is so interesting. So not a lot of people know exactly what you go through with the draft process. So right after my season ended, I started going to, they had like a select team play against the actual USA team. So they had like a college team of like girls from different colleges around the NCAA. And it's so funny because, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma are rivals. So What's funny is one of the point guards from OU was there. So we ended up getting close because we was rivals. You get caught up in that rivalry and you don't really like each other. And then you start to see each other off the court and you see you got a lot in common. So basketball builds a lot of relationships. But, going into the WNBA, it had always been my dream anyway. I said when I was 8 years old, I told my mother when I seen them on opening night that I was going to be there. I don't know too many people that story because people think I'm telling a story. But you can ask my mama can confirm it.
Yeah.
But being able to go and get drafted and to think about all the pioneers from the WNBA, like I've watched, I was really excited. But especially going to LA. I mean, come on, Candace. It was Delisha Milton-Jones, which is somebody who played with Lisa Leslie. It was like a lot of different names on there. Betty Lennox. But we had a really good squad. Teach Finachero. We had a really good squad, and I had a lot of vets. And with them being champions, we just grinded. That's all we could do. That's all you can do when you go to the draft and go to training. You're the fresh new rookie, so they make you do stuff.
Yeah.
They make you wear dresses. Like stuff like that. They do stuff like that. But at the same time, I didn't get too much hazing, which is a good thing, because I don't deal well with hazing. But I learned a lot in that season, and I appreciated the organization for even drafting me and taking the chance on me, and I learned a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so with you ended up having to play overseas a little bit after you had some success in the WNBA. What was that experience like, going from the WNBA, first going from Oklahoma State, right, to changing the culture there, and then you go to arguably the most popular franchise in WNBA history with some legends there already, and now taking all that experience and taking it overseas? Was it like a culture shock, or were you just you're just like a chameleon, you adjust to wherever you go?
I mean, it was a culture shock. I mean, because the thing is that the time difference, of course, because I'm going overseas and time is changing. It's 8 hours, before the USA, in front of the USA. So it's just we had to do that. That was hard. That was the one hard adjustment, was adjusting to the time. Another thing was just the different type of food and the different type of sauces that they had. We used to Lawry's, we used to all type of stuff like that, and we can't find that over there. You know, they'll have like certain bases over there, but everybody didn't have. You know, we couldn't get on the base if we wasn't, you know, related to anybody or something like that. So it was hard for us to have access to American food. So I would just, you know, I tried a couple things. I'm not really a trier, but I did it for my teammates' sake and stuff like that. So that's the main thing. And the basketball over there is really, really competitive. People really sleep on these Europeans because they do this all like they throughout the year, and then some of them are working regular jobs. You would never think that, you know, like a lot of these women are just regular women that come and play basketball for a season and play really hard and then go back to work during the week. So that's with crazy. Us, it's like a paid vacation a little bit, because you definitely have to be focused and prepared for the game. But at the same time, if you're not practicing, what you doing?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
True. You get what I'm saying? You can go shopping. You can go. I don't have 2 jobs over there.
Yeah.
I have 1 job. Right. So that's the main thing. And just, you know, I think when people go overseas, I think the main thing that they need to do is at least get 1 or 2 girls on the team that you can be able to call on, because you're gonna feel alone. You know, you're gonna feel like, I miss my family, especially if you're over there by yourself. You're going to get along, you know, and that's normal, because we used to being comfortable and driving to go see grandma when we want to go see grandma. Now you can't do nothing, you know. That's the main thing, especially going over there that first time. After that, I just did well. Like I knew what to bring the next times I went. I knew that I had to pack my sauces. I knew how to, you know, care packages and all that type of stuff. But it's different, but it's definitely something that you have to take. You have to grasp that opportunity and really understand, like, you really in a foreign country just to play basketball. And you can go, you know, enjoy the city and learn the city, learn another language, you know. So it's very interesting. Overseas is very interesting, especially the men, like NBA. A lot of them NBA players don't go overseas unless it's for the Olympics or something like that, especially ones who are stars in the NBA. But, you know, it's stars in the WNBA that have to go. And that's you know, that don't get me started on that. But at the same time, you know, that's a sacrifice that had to be made. That's what the Pioneers went through. That's what the Cynthia Coopers went through. She played in Russia for countless amount of years, became a superstar over there, and then left because of the WNBA and played. That's why she only played for 4 years. But she won also for 4 years. So I would have retired too. Yeah. I would have retired too.
She
what else I got to prove?
That's true. Yeah. So to my understanding, you have all this experience in hoops, right? You were born around the game, and from what I understand, your father is a legend in the town that Janelle and I grew up in, right? Abatech legend, you know, Danbury. So you're well, not only versed, but you're well, like your what do you call it? Your motivation has always been high, because the bar has always been set high for you, you know, being passed down from your father. To my knowledge, you're looking to get back into the WNBA. Do you want to talk a little bit about your journey back and what you feel like you could still, you know, come on the court and provide immediately?
Yeah. But yes, I actually am. I do train during the week. And also, it's the reason why I'm doing it is because I don't want to look down the road 5 years from now and try to relive something because I didn't finish. You get what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people, you know, stop too early because of adversity or because of something blocked, or, you know, they didn't get that type of birth they wanted. So I've always been the type of person that's going to prove you wrong. And I also want to to succeed, like I would say, I'm trying to figure out how to say this saying. I want to do the impossible. Like, that's me. I'm the type of person that say, okay, like my dad used to tell me, you too short. You're not going to be able to do this. You ain't going to be able to shoot over this. It's reverse psychology, but it's like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I'm too short. So now I got to figure out, since I am too short, I got to figure out how I can make this work for me. Yep. So that's the main thing that it is now. I talk to God every day, of course, but I also put in the work, and I also have people working for me on the back end. I have an agent, and I also have a publicist. Like, I'm building what I should have been building when I first got in the WNBA. And I think, a lot of girls, it happens to us like that because it's not viewed as the NBA. If it was viewed as the NBA, our draft day would be very different. Our approach on everything would be completely different, but we just need more capital. We need more support from the NBA players, from all men's sports associations, because I think that if we all continue to work together to build and continue to build, this thing would be easy. Everybody would be able to make, an easy $1 million. I feel like that's something that 10-year pros should be making. Like, why wouldn't you make $1 million? And you've been doing this for most of your life, and you put in the same amount of work. It's not saying, okay, we're begging and we got to have $1 million by a certain time or something like that. It's just the fact that we putting in the same work. So what's stopping you? What's stopping you from giving?
I was going to jump in too.
Go ahead, Janelle. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you mentioned making $1 million. You feel like everybody, a 10-year pro should be making that. I think back to, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, Diana Taurasi, she left the Mercury and she went overseas to play with a Russian team overseas.
Yeah.
And her salary in the WNBA was like $107,000, and that was like the maximum at the time. They were paying her $1.5 million over there, and it's like, I'm doing the exact same thing, but this company or this place over here is paying me, 10, 15 times more than you want to pay me. Of course, right. I'm going to go over there. But, and like you're saying, it doesn't make sense. It's not to me, it doesn't seem like a money issue. It sounds like a foundational issue. Like, we don't want to put the money into these avenues for whatever the reason.
So, and that comes down to marketing. Like, I feel like the marketing department has got to be more aggressive with these other different sports associations and with these owners. But the one thing I would say, we got a little pinky toe in the door, because the Las Vegas Raiders owner has invested and taken over the Las Vegas Aces. So that helps, because now you have somebody from the NFL who has their hand in the WNBA. Just like LeBron. LeBron had his hand in Renee getting the Atlanta Dream. So that's the type of stuff that has to continue to go on, so that we could eventually get more teams, more people, more opportunities, because it's way more than 12 teams worth of rosters as far as women's basketball players that are, there's some monsters overseas that don't come to the WNBA. It's people that y'all don't even see that are overseas, and they're superstars. You get what I'm saying? And it's not even just Europeans, it's Americans. They go over there, play for somewhere for 3 years, get them a passport, and there goes the net worth. And there goes their net worth that is built, and that's tax-free money. Why would they go to the WNBA? You get what I'm saying? But the WNBA is supposed to be our NBA.
Yep.
So that's the main thing when it comes to change in the WNBA. That's all I want. I want people to start viewing it as if we are on the same level. It doesn't matter the salaries. Treat us like we professional athletes.
Absolutely.
And we go out here and because one thing I'm going to tell you, there's no man, LeBron, I love LeBron, LeBron cool, but he's not going to have a baby and go back and play. You get what I'm saying? Women have to do that. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about how we have to take a break for a year and a half, 2 years.
True.
Because of, to get our body back feeling right. Because even Candace, I did the same thing. I went back too fast because we think we can just bounce back. Like your body takes at least 2 years when you have a baby. So think about that, adding that on top of working hard all the time. Going back, it's certain women who never took a break.
Yeah.
They play the WNBA, then they go right back overseas a week later for 9 months. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're just trying to feed your family. But that's the type of stuff that we need to eliminate because we need to change it. We need to change it because it's opportunity to do so.
You talked about the salaries, and first of all, I don't understand why we're even talking about $1 million. Why aren't women making millions of dollars? Like, the sport is the same, right? The NBA sport, you guys are not playing a different sport by different rules. It's the same. The concept is put the ball in the hoop, right? That's the same concept. So I don't know why we're even talking about in the hundreds of thousands for a professional athlete when the men who play the same exact sport on the other side make millions, like mind-boggling millions of dollars for it. But you made a great point about how there are so many stars overseas. It's not even like other foreigners, like Americans taking their talents overseas instead of playing in the WNBA, and a lot of it has to do with the money. And you pointed out how marketing plays into that because you guys are not marketed. Why is there such a why wouldn't America want to build a ridiculous basketball league for women, and they can expand because one, it's bringing them back more money too. So it's like,
right.
What's holding them back from, expanding this league to be just as good as the NBA, but for women?
I think it just depends on the approach when it comes to the marketing team. Because we don't know what type of strategies they're coming up with daily, trying to figure out how, because they probably are saying the same thing what we're saying. Like, what can we do to get such and such to invest, or such and such to make sure we can get 2 more teams? Because if you get another team, you're gonna have to get 2 because you got to have it even.
Right.
So I think that that's the main thing is finding hungry people in the marketing. Because it's just really hard to. It's not a competition between the WNBA and the NBA. It's a man's world, and that's okay. But at the same time, I just think that we need some of the NBA's resources. We need just a little more support. Like, we're not begging for them to make a drastic change. That can come over time. But we need the type of people that are working in Major League Baseball, in the NBA, in the NFL, because the marketing teams and the content and all, it's year round. We never not hear about nobody in the NBA or the NFL. It's nonstop.
That's true.
And with the WNBA, you don't hear about us enough. We're not on enough commercials. We're not on enough TV shows. You get what I'm saying? Like, Lisa Leslie them, they did that. Cynthia Cooper them, Cheryl Swoops, they did that. They stayed relevant throughout the entire year to where they were seen on TV, to where people were looking forward to the season. So that's the main thing I think that can help a lot, is somebody from the WNBA being on TV constantly.
And kind of piggybacking off of what Sean was saying and what you're saying in terms of like marketing. Last year with the pandemic and everything, we saw both leagues go down to a bubble. And, at one point, it felt like everybody had on an orange WNBA hoodie. All the NBA players.
Yeah.
I feel like they got them out to as many people as they could. How did you feel about that marketing? Because we don't see both leagues playing at the same time ever.
Right.
So the fact that we had NBA basketball going on, we had WNBA basketball going on, and it seemed like the NBA was in full support of the WNBA. Do you think that gave the league a little bit of a bump, just in terms of the amount of eyes on it last season?
Yeah, of course. I really think that the orange hoodie played a big role, because now you have little girls wanting the hoodie. Now you have little boys wanting the hoodie. Now you have the NBA players who are wearing it to pregame. So that's a big thing. That's definitely something that they need to continue to do, because the NBA players are going to help the WNBA players.
Agreed.
Like they really will, as long as everybody is interacting with each other. Like, it's Instagram now, it's social media, it's all you can touch with somebody. So, friends who know friends. If you know Candace, if you on Candace team, you should be networking with Candace, because Candace is in there with the NBA players, D Wade, with Shaq, and they got plenty of money. But they also love the WNBA because of Candace.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, I just think that we all need to use more of our resources. And it's just like if we was in school. Whenever we was in school, the boys and the girls basketball team, we was always cool. Everybody was cool. We didn't really have too many conflicts. Like, we always supported each other. Everybody was at each other's games.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel like it gotta be. Everybody, like, we need NBA players' support. Like, no matter what they think, the little stuff that they would do can help bring attention to the WNBA.
Yeah, and speaking even a little more to that, I think what I've been seeing a lot lately is a lot of WNBA players, or just women who, whether they're former or current players, on these pregame shows, these postgame shows. Like Renee Montgomery is covering the Hawks down in Atlanta. And she does a wonderful job. Like, I absolutely love Renee. Candace Parker on TNT, with Shaq and them. I feel like if they're able to just like add more, women, even like in the offseason, because their season are not at the same time. So in the offseason, keep them like in the space where people will keep seeing them. Not only does it make the players more relevant, but it brings more attention to their league, because anytime you think Candace Parker, you think LA Sparks, right? You think, oh, when is the season starting? What is she going to do? And just like the other day, she was breaking down the pick and roll, and how and Shaq, right, had a hard time understanding why is everybody switching as opposed to just manning up. And she's like, well, this is 2021. Nobody's manning up anymore, because everybody can shoot the three. Every big man can shoot the three, that there's spacing and all that stuff. So, and just to see her knowledge on the set, like, if she wasn't there, we wouldn't know, right? We know she's nice and she can get buckets.
Because how can Shaq read a screen if
right.
he don't come off of it? You know? Yeah.
So seeing her kind of school Shaq, I thought that was really dope. And I'm like, okay, we need more of that. But again, it can't just be Candace. It needs to be, others that we're seeing in the spotlight, having a chance to not only show their ability to cover the sport, but their knowledge of like the little details of what make the sport goes forward. So I know you're looking to come back. And again, we would love to not only see you come back, but to come watch. To come watch you play and see the thing. Because again, I check out your Instagram every now and then. I see you training. I see you putting up shots, and I'm like, the handle's still tight, right? And all of that. Like, do you have a specific team that you would love to be back in, or is it not? You want to stay home in Texas, or does it not really matter? You can't.
I mean, I feel like it's out of. I feel like it's just all on God. I can say what I want, or this, and this, but of course I want to stay home. I mean, of course, why not? Hometown kid. I have played home since high school ball. So it's been a long time, since I actually played in the city of Dallas. Because when I went to, what's funny is the year before I went to Oklahoma State. My senior year in high school, I went to a game, and it was out here. They had the Big 12 tournament out here. So my whole 4 years, we never went to Dallas. But then when I left, they went to Dallas. I was so mad. Because I was like, what? what? But I of course I would want to stay in front of my people, but I think it's all on God and what He want to do and how He wants me to come back and impact this league, because it's all God's work, not mine. I can do everything I want to, but if He ain't in it, I feel like we can only plan so much. We can always say we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do this, but if it's not God's plans, it's not too much you can do about it. Right. You know, so that's the main thing, and to even get a second opportunity to be in the WNBA is a blessing, because not many do it. It's very hard. Mm-hmm. So, but I feel like it goes back to saying, doing the impossible.
Right.
You know, not rewriting your story how you want to write it. You know, so it's going to take a lot of patience, but also a hell of a lot of faith. You know, like that's the main ingredient.
I was gonna say you're already part of a small sorority of women that have played in the league. So
yeah,
for you to come back, I feel like that's gonna be a special story when we see it happen.
I'm gonna be a different type of monster. I'm not even gonna.
I like it.
I'm not even gonna. I really am, because you know, when you get something and then you feel like you didn't really get to do what you could with it, and then you get it again. When you do it again, it gotta be like a whole different level. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be like a kid in a candy store.
I'm so. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Sorry, Sean. With that mentality and having to play overseas in the whole night, do you feel like you got a fair shot in the league? Like, do you think? I'm just.
So
I mean, I think it's just, you know, because a lot of people don't really understand the politics, and also like, because when you first go to somewhere and when you get drafted, you don't think about nothing else but I gotta go to training camp, I gotta make the team. Like, you really think you already made the team once you get drafted. Like, you're not thinking I gotta make the team. You think, oh, well, I need to get, you know, try to get some chemistry with the girls that you've only seen on TV. So you got to go like a good 2 to 3 weeks with preseason games and training camps and two-a-days and all of that type of stuff, which is going to be good checks, because they just do it to see if you can hang, you know. But I just think that I didn't, you know, my first go around in the league, I didn't play a lot. So that's another thing that a lot of people would say, why are you doing that? Why would you go back and this, and this? But it's just a different, I feel like it's different. It's a different day and age, of course, but it's also a different mindset that I have. It's because now I'm like the underdog. I feel like I'm the underdog. So the underdog is going to outwork anybody. So that's the main thing that it is that's the mindset. I went in there thinking we was about to win. Like I went in there like, oh shoot, it's me, Candace, Tina Thompson, Tisha Penetera. I was like, who's gonna stop us?
Yeah.
Christy Tolliver. I was like, who's gonna beat us?
Yeah.
And so, but of course you thinking like that as a rookie, because you seen them and the type of work they put in and all the stuff that the accomplishments that they have combined. It's just, that's the type of mindset that you think, you know? So I think that just growing through everything and knowing and having that knowledge, everything's going to be different.
Yeah.
So the past is just a big boost for the future opportunity.
I'm so happy. Happy, also bittersweet. That was part of my question, because again, once I had to go back and like just completely learn all about you and like your basketball history. And I'm looking through your stats, and I'm like, the highest the minutes you averaged was 19 minutes, and you averaged 6 points that year. So I'm like, from somebody who was like the best guard in college basketball, you know, to have a career high in average, and you average for your career 13 minutes a game. I'm like, in 19 minutes, 6 points, that's really good, right? That's really good considering, you know, the game is also shorter. So I'm like, did she get a fair shake at this thing? And does that?
I'm not.
Yeah. So again, that's
My
why
fault, man.
I got so hyped when he.
No, it's true. But that's actually a positive that I didn't even know. So that actually is something that makes me actually feel better about my past, is that I couldn't control nothing but my effort and my attitude. I couldn't say, okay, well, I'm gonna come in and I'm a rookie, I'm a prima donna. Like, why wouldn't y'all play me? Why y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all crazy. I can't go in there doing that, and I haven't proved nothing.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I couldn't be going in there like I'm Michael. No, I feel like Michael. I feel like him. But at the same time, I can't go in there just like Michael, because Michael proves stuff.
Right.
You know, even when he went in there as a rookie, they didn't respect him.
Right.
He just averaged a lot of points. Nobody respected him. If you go and you look at his documentary, he didn't get a lot of respect until he started winning.
Right.
They didn't care about him scoring baskets. That ain't nothing.
Right.
Are you gonna win?
Right.
Are you gonna win a championship? Are you gonna be a contender? Yeah. And so that's what that's the only thing. The only thing I would change is I feel like our team could have came more together and we would have really whooped everybody. I really think that if we had more chemistry, there's nobody. Not a Sue, not a Diana, not nobody. Because we had too many weapons. We had way too many weapons. You had a great starting five, then you have somebody like me and Christy Tolliver coming off the bench. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is something that I just think that the LA Sparks didn't utilize at that time, which it happens. Everybody can't be perfect, but that's just something that I feel like it would have been way different.
Well, there you heard it. If you're not gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. You were definitely not given enough opportunities, because again, the numbers don't lie. It shows that when you got on the court, you produced to the best of your ability, considering how it was. And you're looking to get back in the league again. Not only do we want to see you back in the league, but we would love to come see you in action. So we're gonna speak it into fruition. We're gonna be on our LaVar Ball status,
right?
Into existence, into fruition. And again, thanks so much for giving us some of your time. I know that you got a lot going on at the stadium. We can't wait to chat again and see the great things that you do. Thanks for joining us so much. We'll talk later.
I wanted to be on the championship team. I thought I was on the championship team.
Yeah.
Like
I
really
championship
did, because
team.
I definitely believe that we were way better my first year when I was in the WNBA. But God is amazing and he does so many things, and he's just, I feel like he reshaping the future. And for me to even still love basketball and even want to do it, that ain't nothing but God, because I could easily be bitter Sally, but why?
Right.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Why? Why not just work for a second chance to rewrite it?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
There you go.
Yeah.